Well, guys, here we are. Secret Invasion. A show that a lot of people were hyping up. This is the next big entry into the ever-growing Marvel Cinematic Universe. And this is a starring vehicle for the one and only Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury. Something that's been a long time coming for this legend. Nick Fury in this series works with Talos, played here by Ben Mendelsohn, a shape-shifting alien Skrull, building off a relationship that we saw in the original Captain Marvel movie a few years ago. They're working together to uncover a conspiracy by a group of renegade Skrulls, and these baddies are led by Gravik, played by Kingsley Ben-Adir, who plan to gain control of the Earth by posing as different humans around the world. Now, right off the bat, one thing I gotta commend Secret Invasion for is their ambition. Because if you ever read the comics, if you're familiar with the Secret Invasion concept, this could have been really freaking dope. Because the whole idea of Secret Invasion is to basically be on the edge of your seat the whole time, and it's always supposed to keep you guessing. Like, you never know if you look at an actor in this series who usually plays a hero, they could be an undercover villain in disguise posing as this well-liked hero. And that's such a cool concept that I cannot wait for the MCU to explore even more. I'm glad they got to at least introduce it to the casual MCU fan in this series. And I applaud these directors and these cinematographers and these writers for going all out with this. I applaud them for establishing a more mature tone than we're used to in Marvel projects, especially these days. It's a very spy, espionage, thriller sort of feel that they're going for. Now, granted, this story is nowhere near as captivating as something like Captain America: The Winter Soldier, which came out 9 years ago, but I think it's definitely a solid attempt for the MCU to explore its maturity. Because we're 40-something projects deep at this point. Like, most projects, you kind of know what you're expecting. Fun, Marvel, one-liners everywhere. Big, gigantic beam in the sky. Just gigantic action. I appreciate that they're willing to explore something this challenging this late in the game. And with this A-list cast that they've assembled, you know that everybody's going to be on the top of their game. I could just say the name Samuel L. Jackson playing this main character, and you know that this is a quality performance. The guy always turns in an A+ performance day in and day out. And this performance in Secret Invasion is no exception. You also have brilliant work from Ben Mendelsohn. You also are introduced to Talos' daughter Gaia, played by Emilia Clarke, Daenerys Targaryen herself. And out of all the new characters introduced in Secret Invasion, Gaia is easily the most interesting of the bunch. She's got a very troubled past as the daughter of a martyr. Not only is her character interesting, but she kicks all kinds of ass, especially as you get closer to the end. The things that she's able to do and the abilities that this character has, I mean, it's almost like OP. It's almost like a cheat code. Really, really fun to watch Gaia develop in this series. You know who is also fantastic, turning in a great performance? Don Cheadle as Rhodey. And granted, he gets a lot more range to explore without spoiling anything than, say, Falcon and Winter Soldier. That series, he only got about 2 or 3 scenes. This one, there's a lot more of him that you get to digest. And man, he is really, really freaking good, especially once you start to uncover the layers and once you see what's really going on, because that kind of leads me into some issues I have with Secret Invasion in terms of the writing. Yeah, it's pretty, by the numbers, which given what's going on in Hollywood right now these days with the strikes, it's not all that surprising, but I completely side with the writers on this, because what piss poor timing to basically tout to the world that your whole introduction to this series was created by generative artificial intelligence. Like, what the guys? Do better. Pay your writers. Pay your actors. It's not that hard. I digress. I mean, if you don't know the stinginess behind the scenes, you might think this intro sequence is pretty cool. The green colors might look cool. God, and that opening theme song is so freaking dope, too, and it's just put to waste with AI. Like, why? Why has it come to this? But I honestly feel like Secret Invasion might turn out to be the most forgettable Marvel project in a while. And that's saying a lot, especially since She-Hulk came out last year. This one, oh my god, the pacing was just so freaking off. Now granted, there were some big events that were occurring, especially towards the premiere, which were compelling. But it's almost like they realized halfway through writing the series that they had only 6 episodes to get everything in. And they were just like, oh, whatever, okay, we'll just throw this all into the finale. And it turns out to be one of the most clunky finales I think I've ever seen to a TV show ever. And again, it's not like the events in Secret Invasion are bad or poorly thought out. I'm sure all these events are going to link to other MCU projects on the big ever-growing tree that it is. But for a series that's centered around Secret Invasion, I was kind of looking for something that would be infinitely more interesting than this. And here's the big kicker to why I say this series is completely uninteresting. Those of you who've been with my channel for a while, I have a friend that I do podcasts with, wrestling podcasts. His name is Tomas, and just like me, he is also a big geek for Marvel. He was watching the premiere. He was able to guess something and predict something in the premiere, which, as you know, I hate speculation because I don't want to end up being disappointed in the long run. But he was able to pinpoint this prediction, and it went exactly as he predicted, right down to the button, right down to the finale, exactly as he laid out. And I'm like, it can't be that easy. And it turns out this villain is the most generic MCU villain in a while. Kingsley Ben-Adir is a phenomenal actor, and you can tell he is throwing everything into these scenes. But the character of Gravik was just not given enough gravitas for what this series definitely needed. So is Secret Invasion a piss-poor series? Not necessarily. Is it one of the weaker entries the MCU has put out in recent years? Absolutely. Is it something I'm going to want to rewatch over and over again, especially when you compare it to other projects? No. But I do applaud this series for the work the actors and the writers were putting into it. I do applaud the ambition that this series had in terms of making a more mature product. It's just not going to be the most memorable in the long run, and I think it came out at the worst possible time for people to say, oh, God, yeah, no, the intro completely AI. Why the would you do that? I'm going to give Secret Invasion a C+. Solid actors, solid action, everything you'd expect out of the MCU, technically, it's there. But I think it's points like this where people are starting to get burned out by this universe. And I'm so glad that they're starting to say, hey, we're going to start spreading out this content a little bit more. Because for all intents and purposes, the shelter in place is over. So there's not going to be as much content that we're going to want to consume in our daily lives. So I'm glad they're wanting to make them feel more like special events, like they used to be. Let me know what you thought of Secret Invasion down in the comments section below. Let me know what your favorite Marvel comic is of all time. What's a Marvel comic that you want to see adapted into the big screen or into the small screen? Guys, I love discussing all new things in movies and entertainment and TV shows on the regular. Everything to MCU, you're going to find it right here on my channel. So what the heck are you waiting for? Become a subscriber today. Hit that thumbs up as well. Trust me, that's a huge help in continuing to grow this community. Y'all are invited to the party. Guys, y'all are the best. Look forward to more videos very, very soon. And with all that being said, Back Talk commence.